Okay, so now I'm going to go through using Apache Airflow, the user interface, and also using the command line interface. Just some basic instructions to start off with. So, firstly, to start off the environment, what we do is we open out a terminal and we go to our folder and we open out the environment, Conda environment, by activating it. Then we put in the environment variable and then we initialize the database. We also then can start in our first terminal window the Airflow web server. So that's the Airflow web server started. So now let's open out a new terminal for our scheduler. CD over to our folder, activate Airflow, set the environment variable, and start the Airflow scheduler. Right, so that's our environment. Should be opened. Now we can go to a browser and we can see this is our environment, the user interface environment. So I'm just going to walk through a few things here. Firstly, to unpause, pause and unpause. So all of these you can see are turned off here. These are the DAGs. And then you can unpause it. I'm going to unpause this one by just turning it on like this, turning it on. So this is the bash one. And you see I've already run it once today to just check that it's working. So that's a recent run. It was a success. That was a success as well. So you can trigger it. I can trigger it to run again by just going to this very, very small play button here. Clicking that. Don't have to put anything in here. And just trigger. Then you can see it starts running here. And we can go into it. From here we can also go into some small links here on the right, but I'm going to go into it here where we can see all those links but bigger along the top. So we have the tree view. If we go over to the graph, you can see the different states here in the tree view. Skipped, success, running, for example. And if you go into the graph view, you can see it all in a graphical way, and you can go into one of these and you can see the different steps, and you can also change these around as well. You can also look at the log here. It does not be running. The scheduler does not seem to be running. Well, that's strange. Let's go back. Just make sure that the scheduler is running. The web server is shutting down. That's interesting, right? Log view. What's happened here? There we go. Now we can see some logs. And so we can go back to Airflow, the main graph view, And we can see the progress on the tree as well, like this. We can refresh this and see what happens. See if it's still okay. And we can also refresh it using this button here. We can also look at the graph view. So we've done that. We can look at the tasks duration. Some graphs here to tell us how it's moving. We can look at the Gantt view. Get some more insight from different graphs. We can look at the source code as well. This source code is the Python configuration file. And we can also delete it if we wanted to from here. Now if we go back to all our DAGs and just refresh this, then we can see how it's running. It's running recent tasks, so it's still running, and you can refresh it this way. And also you can refresh it this way as well, with the refresh button that is very dangerously close to the delete button. So if you just let that run, it'll get to the end. And also, if we go into here, there is a place where you can add environment variables as well. And that's in admin. Go into variables here, and we can add one by clicking create here. I'm going to have for the key just environment, and here I'm going to put dev. I'm going to save this. That creates an environment variable that we can use later. Let's go back to these and see what's happening here. So it was a success. It was a success. So it's completed running now. So that very much wraps up the command line, the user interface. And now we're going to go into the command line. That's strange. It says shutting down the web server. I'll just start it up again. Now, to use the command line, we can open out another window, another terminal window, and do the same things, right? Just go into the tutorial folder. Just keep these in the background for the time being. And just concentrate on this one. Here, open out the environment, open out the environment variable, set the environment variable, and then what I can do is I can pause the HTTP. I can pause any of these DAGs. So these DAGs that I had here running, say I want to pause this one, the one called bash. So I just change this here. Pause true. So what that does, if I refresh this, it should become paused. So I'll just refresh it now. You see that it's become paused. So what I'm doing is I'm doing things on the command line interface and just checking it on the graphical user interface. Now I'm just going to unpause the HTTP one here. So let's see what that does on the front end here. So it unpauses the HTTP one here. Now I can trigger the HTTP one as well from the command line. Trigger is true. So you can see what that's done here by refreshing the graphical user interface, and you can see it started down here. And you can also do some other things like see the next execution time of this particular DAG. This gives the list. And you can see the structure of the DAG. By using showDAG command. Shows the structure. It shows the tasks. You can show the task list by looking at it this way. But to be honest, looking at these things using the graphical user interface are not very helpful in my opinion. It's better to use the graphical user interface instead of the command line interface. So just have a look at another one, task for this other one. That's pretty straightforward because it's not so complicated, but it's still, in my opinion, much more preferable to just look at it through the graphical interface if you're looking at things like structure. So that's still running here. And that's going to run for a little while until it stops. So after that, then I can unpause it. So let's see how long this might take. This one I think takes quite a while. But that's the basic concept. After a while, it will just become like this one, a success. And then I can turn it off. So thank you very much for watching. That's this video for now.